Is 151 still the king set? That's what we're talking about in today's video. We're going to do a full update on 151. It's been a while since we've talked about the set. And in the comments, I used to get a lot of comments saying 151 is king, nothing else matters, 151, 151. Now, that has kind of died down a little bit recently. There's been so many new sets that have come out, and I want to go back to 151 and kind of check in on things. So let's just jump straight into it. And we're going to start off with the most expensive product. First, we're going to talk about sealed product, and then we're going to talk about the singles. So let me know your guys' take on all of this in the comments, because I do love hearing from you guys, and I do think it's important. But we are starting off with the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. And while the growth on this has slowed down, and a lot of the sealed on 151 has slowed down, it's still moving, believe it or not. Even though we're approaching points where you have this PC ETB at $500, believe it or not. People want that stamped Snorlax card. So you can see the most recent sale on this box is at $510, and the listed median price is at $600. So it looks like this box is going to continue to go up in value. You can see right here on the 3-month chart, it's only up 5%. Had a little bit of fluctuation, right, in the past 3 months, from 450 up to 480. Then it came back down to 450, and now we're seeing it market at 478, but most recent sale at 510, and lowest listeds are over 500. We have 515s when you include shipping, and it just goes up and up from there. There's only 35 boxes currently listed on TCG Player. So you have the PC ETB at a $500 box, okay? And continuing to climb slowly. If you look at the 6-month chart, you know, it is still up 76%. But on the 3-month, slowing down. But the 1 month up 6%. And obviously on the 1 year is the crazy growth still, 308% on the PC ETB. But obviously there's other sealed product that we need to be talking about. Here's the regular Elite Trainer box. This one, current market price, $237. Another interesting thing to note, and the median price that I point out doesn't always necessarily mean that that's where it's going to go. It's reflected on how things are listed, but it's usually an indicator of where things are trending, especially when you see a disparity between like the current market price and then the listed median price being high. That means it's slowly trending that way. And we are seeing the regular ETBs continue to rise. 15% in the past 3 months, and 10%, just under 10% rather, in the past month alone. And then when you zoom out to the 6-month, obviously it's going to look even better, 95%. And the 1 year, 248%. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, albeit a year, that these were available at a much, much, much more affordable price in the $60 range, if you can believe that. So 83 boxes currently listed on TCG Player, and there is one listed currently a little bit lower than everything else. But after that one sells, we're at 250 and up, which would be above the market price currently. So looks like regular ETBs are about to be $250. So that's currently, these are, I would say, the most desirable products from 151. Then a product that I like a lot is the booster bundle display. I think that this one will age very well long term. Now we're seeing a lot of booster bundles that were entering the market for a while. It was a product that was pretty heavily printed. I think that's pretty safe to say, because these were trickling in everywhere for a while. Not necessarily the displays. These were a little bit harder to get, but the booster bundles themselves. So getting a sealed display was a little trickier, but these are continuing to go up in value as well. Something very interesting, 17% growth in the past 3 months, finally breaking above that $700 mark and holding an additional like almost 5% in the past month. And you can see 20% over the past 6 months and only 82% in the past year, which is still extremely good, just not as good as some of those other products that we're seeing from 151. But listed median price, $950. So these are slowly starting to go up as well. And lowest listed right now is $800. So this is going up in value, the booster bundle display. Then we have the UPC. The UPC is slowed down a little bit more recently. You can see, look at the 3-month chart. It's kind of flat, right? It's only up 0.6%. This little dip right here was from not that long ago. There was somebody who listed a bunch of UPCs really cheap, and this ended up being fake, and everyone got refunded, or it was an error, whatever it wasn't real. Okay. Listed median, once again, important just to keep in mind. $425 median price, market at 363. And when we zoom out, you can see continuing to grow 200% on the year. And it's still wild to say looking back, but if you are newer, these were available everywhere for like $90. Over a year ago now, you can see they were starting to move up above that price. But $80 to $90, these were available online everywhere over a year ago now. But that's just wild to see them at this price. And, you know, the listed median being so high. Lowest listed right now is 380, which is above current market. So sealed on 151 is continuing to move up, right? The sealed is looking strong, even though maybe some of it has slowed down recently. It does make sense because so much of it is getting like really expensive. So, you know, once things hit a certain price, certain people are priced out and stuff like that. So the sealed is slowing down, but still trending upwards. So we're seeing a lot of strength when it comes to that. So 151 sealed looking really good so far. Before we go any further, I just wanted to give a real quick shout out. I did start a second channel that is talking about collecting vintage games. I recently found my childhood Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and N64 collection. Complete in-box games and stuff. So if you want to check that out, we're going to start collecting that, and you can subscribe to the channel and kind of go on that journey with me. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon games. I do want to collect every single Pokemon game complete in box. So that's going to be one of the challenges that we work towards. So if you want to check that out, there'll be a link in the description to check out the channel. But here it is, just to remind you. Then it's not every sealed product that's going up for 151. So let's be clear on that. You do have a product like the Binder Collection. Binder Collection right here is coming down a little bit. You can see it's down almost 8% in the past 3 months. And it's kind of flat on the month. Also, once again, if you're here to check out the singles, they're going to be towards the end of the video. So we just got to get through a few more sealed product, as I do think it's relevant. Now, the binders are still up on the 6 month, almost 60%. So these have been trending up. The 1 year, 195%. You can see the listed median at 140 when the market's at 130. So this is where the listed median price, it's really not that much higher than the current market. So if these move up, it's going to be very slowly, I would say. And these are the less desirable of the products. You know, one of them, I would say. Not that people don't want the binders and the packs, but there's not that many packs in here and stuff. So it's kind of one of the less desirable. You can pick up the binder a lot cheaper than buying this whole thing if you wanted just to pick up the binder. So yeah, it's just not as desirable of a product. Then we have the Zapdos Collection box. This is another one that we've seen a lot of coming into the market as far as restocks happening. This is one that keeps popping up here and there. And also the poster collection. Those have been popping up a lot. But you can see this one's down almost 16% over the past 3 months. And let's see what the 1 month looks like. Yeah, so in the last month, down 21%. So from 57 down to 44. You can see most recent sale around 38. So these have been coming down a little bit. They're only up 10% in the last 6 months and 64% on the year, which is still great on the year, but really not that crazy compared to some of the other sealed product. And then you have the poster collection. Similar thing, not that many packs, weaker product when it comes to sealed. You know, definitely people will want this product and want to open it and all of that, but, you know, it's coming down because we have seen more of these popping up at Dollar Generals, stuff like that. I've seen people scooping them up. So they still keep popping up, which is interesting, but down 21% on the past 3 months. And like the last month, it's popped up a little bit, up 6%. You zoom out, it's only up 10% on the 6 month and only 31% on the year. So you can see in the last year, it's hasn't performed that well overall, comparatively. Once again, 31% is pretty good growth overall, but it's just comparative to the rest of the set, it's just not really doing as well. And now something I wanted to just show real quick. This is not to get anyone's hopes up. This doesn't look like necessarily, this doesn't mean anything, but this just popped up this morning in the Discord. The Costco was showing that these products were popping up in Costco on people's lists. If you had them saved on the list, if you search for them, they're not popping up. But I just thought it was interesting. 151 with the tins and the UPC, and then the tins. This comes from JK's in my Discord. So this doesn't mean that they're getting it per se. So don't get your hopes up. I wouldn't think that they would. But it was very interesting. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because if this, for some reason, turns out to be real, you guys will be the first to know, and I will make a video covering that as soon as we know. So I just thought that was interesting. I was already making a video on 151 today, and then I saw this kind of pop up as I was pulling up everything for the video. So just a little interesting thing that these are popping up on people's lists, being activated for some reason. I don't know if they're just what's going on, but previously these were not shown like this. So just something to keep in mind. Once again, I don't think there's any weight to this currently, but I just thought that was interesting. Now let's jump over to the singles. Singles obviously being hit pretty hard. It's not a 151 exclusive thing, right? I talked a lot about singles recently on the channel. They tend to drop during the summer, and there's been a lot of 151 product. It gets ripped very heavily. Like I said earlier, the booster bundles, you got the Zapdos boxes, you got the binder collections. There's been like a lot of those lesser products that have still been entering the market. People still want to rip this set, and you can see, look at the supply on the Charizard. Look how many copies are currently on TCG Player. 312, right? Also keep in mind that this is not really that difficult of a card to pull. The pull rates are pretty good for 151, all things considered. So that does make it a fun set to open. Pull rates really not being that difficult compared to some of the later Scarlet and Violet sets. But we are seeing prices continue to drop, which is great for those who are looking to complete their master sets or purchase some of those singles that they've wanted, because some of these prices are the lowest we've seen in a long time. So 27% down on the Charizard in the past 3 months. And albeit in the past month, it's only down around 2%. But if you zoom out 6 months, we are seeing this down around 9% in the past 6 months. And obviously it's up on the 1 year, 65%. But we haven't seen prices like this, 189, since that would be, looks like right here in early November was the last time we saw the Charizard at this price. So that is very interesting to see there. So single wise, looking like a potentially great time to pick up some of these singles. I would wait a little bit longer still as we approach into the summer. Like I said, look at the supply, 312 copies. I would wait longer. Most likely these are going to continue to drop. Current market at 189. We'll see where the bottom ends up for the most expensive card of the set. Then we have the Blastoise, which most of these are going to be kind of similar. They're going to be on a similar trajectory. Down 27% in the past 3 months. The last month down almost 12%. And if you look at the 6 months, down 18%. So down overall for the past 6 months, it's been trending down. Same thing, look at the supply, 290 copies, right? So high supply, it makes sense that they would be going down. People are going to be undercutting each other for prices. A lot of people who are selling, and it's only up 31% on the year. But if we zoom out again, just to take a look at $60, last time we saw this at $60 was in October, if you can believe it or not. So October for the Blastoise was the last time we saw it at this price. Same thing for the Venusaur, all the big three, 22% down on the past 3 months. We'll go through this a little faster. 13% over the past month. Even more supply on this card, 341 copies You go to the 1 year chart right here, and you can see it is up 35%. But $56, you have to go all the way back to October again for the Venusaur to get to the last time that this was at this price point. So that's not, just because these prices are down doesn't necessarily mean that like 151 as a set is doing bad, because you see the demand on the sealed side, right? You see what that's been doing. But it just is the summer blues, if you want to put it that way, as far as the singles go. Then my favorite card of the set, the Zapdos. Same story, different card. High supply, down 22% on the past 3 months. We'll go straight to the 1 year here, just to take a look. Last time this card was $47. It was a little bit later. It was actually late November. So this one moved a little bit later than the other cards. So late November was the last time it was at this price. This one's only up 23% on the year. So less growth on this one, which still is unfortunate, because I do think this is one of the best artworks of the set, and I still think undervalued. I'd still like to see this card higher in value, closer to the Venusaur and the Blastoise, in my personal opinion, but maybe just a little bit of fanboy bias when it comes to the legendary birds. Absolutely stunning card. Then we'll touch on the illustration rares, a few here. Charmander, same story, different card. High supply, down 20, almost 2% in the past 3 months, down almost 8% in the past month. Last time this card was at this price, $41, was back. We'll have to go back a little further. Actually, it's going to look like October again. Mid-October was the last time we saw it, which once again, expensive for an illustration rare, as these are easy to pull. I always thought that when these shot up that the illustration rares were just kind of a little high, in my opinion. But the market obviously disagrees with me, and they've been high for a while. So they're all kind of following the same general trend. Same thing with the Squirtle. I mean, look how similar these numbers are. Sorry to sound like a broken record, but that's just where they are, right? This is just the facts. All like around 300 plus copies. So last time the Squirtle was at this price, you're going to see a similar thing. $39. Let's go back. Looks like, October, late October, early November for the Squirtle. And then finally the Alakazam. Now this one's been hit a little bit harder, which this is a really nice special illustration where I like the art style and the direction they chose on this one a lot. Personally, I guess a lot of the cards I like are the ones that get hit the hardest. But 350 copies, 32% down in the past 3 months. And this one's been continuing to drop. So this is definitely one where if you need this for your master set or whatever it may be, definitely wait on this one. Hasn't held up quite as well. So it's probably going to continue to drop into the summer months. And you can see 17% down in the past 6 months. And this is where it's wild to me. You saw how a lot of those cards were up at least pretty decently on the 1 year. Alakazam currently is only up 5% on the 1 year chart. 5%, that's it. Last time it was $34, was back here. Same thing in October. But before that, it hadn't really moved. It didn't really go up like that crazy. People just apparently didn't like the card as much. So, but yeah, 5%. We're getting to that point where enough time has passed. And as time continues to pass, we will see less gains overall on these, because the charts will have moved past where these price points were so low, and things will start to look a little different, like we're starting to see with the Alakazam, where on the 1 year, maybe things they're down on the 1 year, they're flat or barely up. So as far as the singles go, I don't think it's any indication of lack of strength for the set. I think 151 is one of, if not, the greatest sets of the Scarlet and Violet era. There's so much nostalgia, but big Gen 1 bias coming from me. And the sealed side continuing to perform extremely well. It's just that summertime singles tends to happen, as well as the influx of cards. There's just a high supply. So when it comes to supply and demand, obviously the supply side is winning out, and people want to offload their duplicates, and they're going to undercut just to get them out. And then when the prices drop too, people go, oh, well, let me sell before it goes even further. And you can see they undercut all the way down. So nothing surprising on the single side, but the sealed side is where, for me, it's a little bit more interesting, just to see that we are still seeing like crazy numbers out of the sealed. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree in the comments. I just wanted to touch on 151 because it's been a while. We've had so much hype with like Surging, Prismatic, Destined Rivals, everything like coming out, and then the black and white set coming out, and there's just been like so much like new stuff that 151, obviously it's a very old set now at this point, but you know, we're still in the Scarlet and Violet era. We're not out of it quite yet. We haven't gotten to the black and white release yet. So it's still in the era and obviously doing extremely well on the sealed side. So that's a strong indicator. And that little Costco thing definitely seems like it's probably not going to happen. But so don't get your hopes up for that. I'm not. But it just was interesting that it popped up, especially on today where like a date where I was already researching 151. So I did think that that was interesting. So it would be kind of wild if that happened, and I think the market would go insane. People would be definitely fighting over that product if those all dropped at Costco. It'd make the prismatic stuff look pretty tame probably at this point. But that's all I have for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.